Hi everyone in English 1301, it's Dr. E and I'm here with your week 12 instructional video. So as usual, I'm going to jump into D2L, show you where to go and what to do for this upcoming week, but interspersed in there I will have some notes regarding the written responses and some of the feedback that I was offering in a lot of those. And then some just general notes to kind of just give you some more information to use, part of your tool belt, part of your arsenal when it comes to revising for the portfolio assignment that's coming up this week. All right, so if we go to the content area, in the week 12 module, it looks like a pretty easygoing week until we get to the end and oh my gosh, here's this large grade, right? And that's intentional. It's intentional to have this grade be large because we've worked on those revisions. You've had time with them. You have time to make an appointment to see a tutor. You have time to revise and maybe have a friend or family member look over your work. So just take advantage of that. Make sure that you're submitting the best work possible because that grade is quite large, right? So keep that in mind. You're watching the video. You do have a multimedia project plan that's due on Thursday. So this is just something that encourages you to start thinking about your project, start kind of having a vision for it and setting that up in your mind. The portfolio is due on Sunday, and then you do have a participation quiz as well. So pretty normal week, but before I jump into some of that, I'm going to take us to this little module right here, which is all about MLA. So a lot of the feedback that I've been offering in those responses relates to MLA, which is understandable. We don't have to be experts in MLA. That's not the expectation. I've been doing this a long time and I'm not an expert in MLA. I know all the things related to what it takes to teach this course, but there are so many little ins and outs. How do you cite this very specific kind of document? So we need to just have tools to know where to go and what to do when we have MLA related questions. This module is one of them. So the first is a document that has Choi's article, and it's just showing examples of quotes using her article. So it shows examples of paraphrasing, it shows examples of, how to use those in-text citations and properly cite sources. This is also a really good article to use as an example because Choi does a lot of quoting herself. She's bringing in a lot of other voices to support her ideas. But a lot of times you look and go, well, I want to quote Dan Barber. Dan Barber says something really awesome in Choi's article. How do you quote a quote, right? There are examples in that document of how to do that. Just saying. There's a link to the Purdue Online Writing Lab website. There is the PowerPoint that's related to to MLA. So if you need a visual, this can be really helpful. There is that MLA video that you watched earlier in the semester if you need to go back to that. Here's a link to citing common sources, right? So this is something that may come up, especially when we're thinking about the names of television shows. The way we cite the name of an entire television show is different than the way we would cite a specific episode of that television show. Okay. There's also a Choi citation and an Irvin citation. So these are just ready to be copied and pasted into a portfolio. So some of the work's been done for you. So this is a really good test of who is actually watching the videos every week. That will come to light when I take a look at those works cited in the portfolio assignments, right? All right, so if we go back to D2L, I'm going to go one step up to the student success module. It's time to think about student success, especially with that drop date coming up. I mean, it's always time to think about student success, right? But we're into the last push of the semester. We have this week and then we have a holiday, coming up after that. And then it moves really, really quickly into finals, right? The turnaround is very quick. So I really want you to make sure that you're just kind of recharging your batteries, getting everything ready. But if you want an opportunity to perhaps earn bonus points, this is a new section in the student success module. If you click on this area right here, it will take you to events and workshops. So it's really because I thought this was a wonderful opportunity, this discussion entitled India, a Mosaic of Cultures and Contrasts. This is a virtual conversation that will happen on Wednesday the 16th between 2 and 3 p.m. And so I wanted to make sure that was an opportunity for you to earn a few extra points while doing something that's, fun and interesting. But then there are going to be some of you who aren't able to make that time or that date because of all the other things going on in your lives. But it didn't seem fair to just offer that one opportunity. So for those of you who have different schedules, you have some asynchronous offerings here, including one by our wonderful advisor for the course. Ms. Casey Timmy has a whole discussion on effective job search strategies. And then we have some other links about time management and self-care and all these different things. So, okay, you attend, I'm air quoting because some of them aren't necessarily events, you take the workshop, right? So what do you do then? You go back to this area, and then there is an event reflection, and it looks very similar to some of the other things that we've worked on this semester. So it asks you some questions to reflect on, and then you'll submit that in the assignments area, just like everything else in our course, right? I do also want to note that there's a new section called Dr. E's Writing Strategies. This is just feedback for some of the things that I've been seeing. I have been on a lot of your written responses offering some strategies and, hey, think about doing this. And so I just collected them and put them together there. So it's something that may prove helpful, but maybe not. A lot of this came out of the notion that y'all are just being way too hard on yourselves. In your written reflections, thinking about your writing and your approaches, a lot of you were being really harsh on your writing. And so I want you to kind of flip that script, change the narrative, and some of these things may help with that. It doesn't hurt to just take a quick look. Okay, so I have it broken down into different things I was seeing in the posts or the written response information that y'all shared with me. All right, so let's go back to D2L's module area. And if we're in week 12, you're watching what will appear here. I have a link here for the multimedia project and guidelines because you'll want to take a look at that before submitting your your project plan, right? So just review those guidelines, go back to the video if you need to. And then here is the portfolio template because we do have that coming up on Sunday. And then if you need to do a quick check. Have I answered every aspect of the prompt? Do I need to go back and do something? Here are the prompts from those weeks that were assigned for the portfolio work. So that's in the review area. And if you jump down here, I put visit the MLA help module. If you click on this, it's nothing, right? This is just a little note so that you can scroll up here. I'm unable to link directly to a module, which is super annoying, but that's the way it is. Here's a link to the portfolio assignment where you can upload that. It's pretty straightforward, right? You have, there's instructions here on how to set up an appointment to meet with a tutor, so definitely take advantage of that. Why not? They're really kind, they're really friendly, don't worry. They're there to help, they're not there to judge. You can review the guidelines here. The prompts are available by clicking here, and then you have the template. So pretty straightforward. We've been doing this a lot this semester, you know what to do. If we go back to week 12, this is the multimedia project plan. So this is going to look familiar. It's, here are the guidelines again. It is a form to upload and submit. So I'm going to open it right now. Shockingly, it's going to look pretty familiar. And so it's just asking you to really think through the different elements. So the first response, and it puts, I put a note here, you want to really think about your project, think about a timeline, and also work to provide the actual drafts of your 3 paragraphs, including integrated quotes. And I think I only actually end up asking you for 2 paragraphs. So don't worry too much about that. As long as you complete everything here, you're fine. Take time to revise and edit. So the first question is, what text, author, anything from the course inspired your project and why? So if you chose Ron Finley, why? What about it, right? There's something that spoke or resonated to you, and a brief explanation of that would be really nice in complete sentences. And I put a note here, your answers to this question and the following question will become the basis for your first paragraph, okay? So the first, describe your project, how will you address, analyze the text idea above. So this is part of that first paragraph. You need to imagine that you have somebody who's looking at your discussion post, which is how we'll do our multimedia projects. They're going to click on a link to a YouTube video. They're going to click on a document to open up. What are they seeing? We're giving them context before they open that document or click that link. So this is where you would say, I chose to do a PowerPoint because, I wanted to try this. This was really, something I wanted to do. You're giving us a little context about what we're seeing. How will you show effort? So for example, if you wrote a poem, how are you going to let the audience know that you committed time and energy? So are you going to be showing drafts and putting those into a PowerPoint? Are you going to take images with your phone if you're handwriting the drafts and put those into a PowerPoint? I always suggest PowerPoint because it's just a really easy way to have an accessible kind of file that everybody in the class can open, and we can just kind of scroll through and see the development, right, of your ideas, whether you're baking something, whether you're creating a piece of artwork, anything, okay? What is your general timeline for completion? And I think about researching in the text, right? Going back to Finley's talk or Choi's article, creating the actual project, completing the 3-paragraph essay. I want to know the days and the hours that you're going to spend. And this is only because in years past, students have rushed at the very last minute. That is absolutely clear in the work that they submit. So I want you to really start thinking, how much time is it going to take me to create this video? How much time will it take to edit the video? Really think out and plan the days, the hours, everything, okay? This is a space for your complete draft of the 2nd paragraph of the 3. This is most of the prompt: cite authors, speakers, text from our semester that connect to your project. You want to do this in paragraph format. So you don't have to indent because this is in a response area, but you need to provide those in-text citations and explanations of quotes, explain how the research led to your project while also providing a bit of explanation for the research you are using. There should be a space there. Anyhow, so go back to the guidelines, look at the information for the 2nd paragraph. This is really where the research comes in. This is a research project. That's where you need to bring in those quotes to support your ideas in paragraph form. Don't just drop quotes in the middle. Those are a part of your paragraph, right? All right, so this is what you'll save and upload in the assignments area for the project plan. Take some time to kind of think through everything you'd like to do. All right, and then I put a note here that the quiz will be available by noon on Monday. I do want to make a few notes about things that I was seeing in the written responses, because I think it's only fair for you to know if I'm seeing these things more than a few times. The first is I always am noting topic sentences, and I really want you to start thinking about topic sentences as being just as important as your thesis statement, right? This may not be something that you've talked about, in other writing classes, anything like that. The topic sentences help your reader know where you're going. So the thesis does that in a very, specific way at the end of that introductory paragraph. But then with each paragraph that follows, we need to be told where we're going. So I want you to imagine those topic sentences as part of a map. If you're reading a map and trying to get somewhere and it says, go down the street away and turn. Go down, how far? Turn in what direction? Are there any landmarks? Like, what do I see? Your topic sentence is giving more information, right? Go down the road 0.5 miles, take a left at the stop sign. Your topic sentence is helping your reader. And that's one of our goals. We want to be kind to our audience. We want to just lead them through our ideas, make sure they understand our ideas. Another note I wanted to mention is that my brain and the way that I read may be different from your brain and the way that you read and write. So if I make a note about the way a sentence is written, or, hey, I'm kind of lost here, that's not a judgment on the way that you write. That's just me saying, is there a way to rewrite it just so that my brain can understand it? And this is true for we don't all read and write in the same way. Okay, please use the last names of people, always. Period. End of sentence. So we're working to be really kind to our readers. And I put here in my last note, stop judging yourself. You are judging yourself in your writing much too harshly. I want you to approach this not as something that's going to be judged, but that something that's going to be read and welcomed. These are ideas that I am welcoming. So take a deep breath. It's gonna be okay. Reach out if you have any questions, let me know, or post in that Q&A discussion area. Good luck this week. Y'all are doing so great.